Welcome to the Heal Yourself podcast, where we dive deep into all things healing. I'm Denise, a speech language pathologist and a self-love coach for adults and teens.
And I'm Kira, a traditional naturopath and functional nutritionist, and we are here to guide you through the transformative process of healing your body, mind, and soul.
From the latest in functional medicine to nurturing your relationship with yourself, healing trauma, and even transforming your money story, we're here to empower you with the knowledge and tools to create lasting change.
So whether you're looking to heal physically, emotionally, or spiritually, join us as we explore the many paths to wholeness and wellness. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Heal Yourself podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kira. Denise is not with us today, but I do have a special guest for you, Jen. And I'm going to introduce her before I bring her on. So Jen is a spiritual dating coach that's committed to helping women spiritually awaken, grow, and shift their personal energy to become absolutely magnetic to their dream partner. She's been certified as a coach in several modalities, including Robbins-Madanes. I told you I was going to butcher that. I probably still did. Strategic intervention in sacred depths. She lives in Cincinnati with her husband and 3 cats. Road cycling and traveling are activities that she and her husband enjoy doing together and have combined the two as a way to bond and stay fit. How fun. My husband's a road cyclist, so.
Oh, cool.
Well, welcome, Jen. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here, Kira. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so I always like to ask, how did you get here? Like, what led you to become a dating coach?
Oh, well, my own personal healing journey led me to be a dating coach. So I grew up with parents who were not really there for me emotionally. I came out of my childhood with wounding that made me feel less than, with wounding that made me feel like I needed to prove myself to other people before I could accept love, which was a major hindrance when you're trying to find that, relationship. You're trying to find a husband or a partner, and yet everyone that I was dating was like my parents. They were emotionally unavailable. And, when you're used to that kind of energy, you tend to seek it out unknowingly out in the world. So I had to go on a personal healing journey, and I was painfully shy because it had been drilled in my head that people are dangerous. Other people are dangerous. Opening yourself up to them in any way was going to be painful for me. So, I would have rather have gnawed my arm off than to, be in front of a group of people or even to make friends. Like, I was one of those weird kids that never was able to really make friends in school. And, I always walked around feeling like there was something wrong with me. I was always an outsider. I never fit in anywhere. And I know it was all my doing, now looking at it from this side, I got picked on, but I understand why. So I decided to get myself physically in shape, so heal my body. When you're going through college and you haven't been taught how to eat right, you're eating nothing but junk and fast food because you have no time for anything else, right?
And no money.
And no money. Yeah. So I gained a bunch of weight, and that was starting to kind of really weigh on me and depress me. And I had one of those kind of come to Jesus moments looking at myself in the mirror. And basically, I heard this thought in my head that said, well, you can't cry about it if you aren't doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So I embarked on, learning how to eat better, and I vowed to exercise every day, and I did. I stuck to those things and I lost the weight and I gained a bunch of muscle and along with it, a bunch of confidence.
Hmm.
So I started to see myself in a different way. And when I did that, I noticed that I also, like other people, also started seeing me in a different way.
Yeah.
I thought it was because of the way I looked, but that was wrong. It
Hmm.
was because I was different. My energy was different. I was interacting with people differently. I wasn't putting up with the same crap that I put up with when I thought I was fat and ugly. So I continued that journey. Those became habits. I've stuck with them ever since. Let's see, I was probably what, 24, 23, 24 when I started that. And I'll be 50 next month. So I've managed to keep those habits. And it served me well. I'm healthy and fit and I don't have any major health issues. But then there was something nudging me to go deeper with it. Um, I started to tackle an even bigger chunk of my confidence by getting in front of people. So I really did like working out. I ended up really, I guess I became one of those people that's like, once you do it, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I actually like it. So I ended up loving going to the gym. And I decided I wanted to become a cycling instructor. So, because I was taking the classes and there were some instructors that just were not that good. And I'm like, I think I can do better. So, ego coming out there, like I can
Yeah.
do better. So I got certified and it took me a while to get to the point to do better, but it scared the shit out of me. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put that out there. Um, I got more comfortable with it as I did it more as we do. And then I also decided I'm going to be a yoga instructor. So I did that too. And I still am a yoga instructor. So all of these little things that I did have just led me down the path of really figuring out who I am, right? Because of all of the stuff we have in our past, it just kind of weighs us down. And as you start to like take off the backpack and, take rocks out of it and put it down, we start to see who we really are and what we can actually do. But I've noticed, especially a lot of the older generation have not been willing to do
Yeah.
that. Like my parents, especially, and I have seen them go backwards, like literally revert and get worse. So, like Tony Robbins always said, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
Like you
I,
literally are.
hmm.
Which brings me to relationships. So that was like the last piece of my puzzle. All the people that I were dating, like I said, were like my parents, emotionally unavailable, and I had no reason why. I didn't know why that was happening.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I didn't understand how energy worked. I didn't understand how I thought I had healed. I thought I had healed from, the childhood wounding. I thought I had healed from, the abuse that I had gone through. Turns out I only did a portion of that.
Yeah.
Healing is not a straight line. It is cyclical. You do have to come back and revisit things here and there. Um, and you'll have to do that for the rest of your life. Like
Yep.
there is no destination with healing. It's an ongoing thing.
This is Denise and I preach this, and it comes up in every episode. It's ongoing, and people need to always hear that. You're not done. You're not healed one day.
Right, right. And so it got to the point where I didn't know what to do. And I wasn't someone that would go seek out traditional therapy because that version of me would have thought that was quitting or giving up or being weak. And, it's probably something I should have done, a heck of a lot earlier. But no one could tell me that, you know. So it was totally my own journey. Like no one was going to be able to help me with this, or I wasn't going to let anyone help me
Yeah.
with this. Let's put it that way. And I know a lot of women who've gone through the same things that I have, who are very strong and independent, won't let people help them.
Hmm.
And that was a detriment to me finding a relationship, as it turns out. So I had to come to terms with all of my past. But what I ended up doing is I went to see a psychic medium of all things. I wasn't really spiritual at this time, and she gave me the name of a book to go get. And it was a book about manifesting and how it works. So that was my first foray into like the universal laws and principles and how they work, and taking responsibility for your own actions and energy, which at that point in time, I was very much in victim mode, thinking that what's everybody else?
Yep.
It's all these unhealed people that keep being attracted to me. Like there's no good ones out there, right? So I was giving my power away to external circumstances. So once I started to take responsibility for that and to look at how I was showing up in the world, what I was choosing, like that's when everything started to change. I did manifesting on purpose. I got clear with exactly what I wanted, what I was going to put up with, what I wasn't. I made a pact with myself to start to say yes to things I would normally say no to. Because if you, what's the old adage, like do what you always do, get what you always got,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So in order to shake up your energy, you have to do something different. You have to make different choices. You have to put yourself in different situations. And so that's what I committed to doing. And within 3 months of starting that, I met the man that is
Mm.
now my husband. So we've been together for almost 14 years now. And looking back on it, probably the biggest turning point was I it was our first date actually. And he ended up like massaging my feet for a long time, and I don't remember like why, but he did. And then and I wasn't that attracted to him at first. But then I got to thinking like, okay, he literally checks all the boxes that I said I
Hmm.
wanted. And you know what? My selfish ex definitely would not have massaged my feet for half an hour. So why am I not choosing this?
Yeah.
And then when I decided to give him a chance, like things started opening up. So I was literally not even seeing him for who he was. I was only seeing what
Hmm.
I was not seeing what I was used to.
Yeah.
Which was someone that always kept me, arm's length and, was not very supportive and, didn't want to open up to me and made me work for love. Like he is just offering this. And I'm like, oh, this is weird.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to work for it, so I'm not attracted to it. Um, and literally, like I said, it came down to a choice
Yeah.
for me. And so to answer your question, how I got into to being a coach was because I remember how shitty it feels to not know what else to do. Like to
Yeah.
be, to want this thing so bad, but it's been denied to you, making you feel like there's something wrong with you. And it just serves to like really bring out what you see in the world. So
Yep.
if you think that there's something wrong with you, you're going to uh, put yourself in situations that will reflect that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And no one likes to hear this. Your life is a reflection of you. And
Yes.
so, even if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I don't need to manifest my dream partner, like I'm already married, look at your marriage. If you're
Mhm.
constantly complaining about your spouse, that's a reflection. You got to work on you. You don't just focus on what that person is doing wrong.
Right. We get what we are an energetic match for.
Hmm.
So every relationship has its own energy. So if you, like, for example, if you tend to attract, say, a lot of people that cheat on you or are dishonest, even though you're an honest person, there might be areas where you aren't being honest with yourself, right? Or you have the worldview that everyone is just out to get you, and therefore that is going to be reflected back. So our relationships are always a mirror of what is happening in us too. So if you're just blaming your partner for all these things that he or she isn't doing or is doing that you don't like there is an energy to that. Why is that happening? And the best way to smooth any of that out is to start with yourself,
Yep.
like to really look inside. And I'm just gonna say it, like it all comes back to how we were raised and what happened in our childhood. Like I've not come across anyone that is having problems that it wasn't from something that happened in their childhood
Hmm.
or
Those
how their
first
parents.
7 years, I mean, everything is formed in those first 7 years. And yeah, there's more that happens up through 18, but yeah, it's those become our unconscious beliefs
Mhm.
and they take over everything. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yes. Yeah. And especially for women, if we haven't had a father who was there for us, who was supportive, we will harbor those daddy wounds,
Hmm.
father wounds. So if you had a father that was absent in any way, like even if it wasn't his fault, like maybe, you were on the poor side and your parents had to work all the time and
Hmm.
they just weren't able to be there, like that still leaves a mark. Even though
Yep.
you understand that you don't hold that against them, you're going to have some level of abandonment wound.
Hmm.
Um, you know, if your parents or your dad had any kind of substance abuse issues, and wasn't able to be there for you or literally just couldn't connect with you in some way, like that was my dad. He can't connect to humans. Like he just can't. He can't even connect to animals. Like I think that he has undiagnosed CPTSD and it is only getting worse now that he's in his 70s. It's sad. It really is sad to see. But because I never had that supportive father relationship, and he never showed me how I should be treated by men. Like
Hmm.
our dads are our gateway to our future relationships. They're there to teach us how we should be treated. And if you have a father that is not going to support you or isn't there for you, you're going to seek that out unknowingly in your future relationships, trying to work that karma out. So I would highly suggest, like anyone that had a less than ideal father, even if you never knew him, like still,
Hmm.
it will leave a mark. Like you'll want to get some clarity around that and what kinds of issues that might be causing you in your current relationships. And this is the kind of stuff that I help my clients through. I really help them to identify what is that pattern, what is that energy that is attracting to you the relationships you don't want. And then I help them shift it and then give them the confidence, help them get the confidence to get out of their comfort zone in order to get out into the world to find it, to find what it is that they're looking for. And, it doesn't matter how old you are. You could do this at any age. So, if you're sitting there in your 50s or 60s or whatever, and you're like, that ship has sailed,
No, it
only,
hasn't.
only if you want that to be the case.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a believer that whatever you want in this life, you can have. There is no, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that. It might take a little bit of work, but you can have it, and the universe will work with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious because obviously this sounds like a process, right? It's like what I do. I'm like, I don't have one magic thing for you to go out and do and heal your physical body. And you're not going to have that either. But I'm curious for those listening that are like, oh, crap, like I definitely have the father wound. I didn't have one that was present. Is there anything they can start to do?
What I like to tell people is our past holds a lot of keys to our healing. So, especially your past relationships. And one of the first things that I do when I work with someone is we try to figure out what those lessons from the past relationships are or were supposed to be. So I'm not talking like, because people usually come away with the wrong lessons. So like if you were cheated on, then you might walk away with, well, I knew I shouldn't, I can't trust people, or,
Yeah.
if your lesson makes you feel bad, it's the wrong lesson.
Mm,
It's the wrong lesson. So if it has to do with you closing down and distancing yourself and being more careful, it's the wrong lesson. That wasn't it. Which is why working with someone is, I would highly suggest it, because we get to have a dialogue about that. Right. And I can, me or whoever you work with can guide you to be like, yeah, but I think there's something else here,
mm-hmm.
and to see that energy play out. It's not an easy thing to see. It's really not. And I think that literally is my gift, is I'm able to really find that really quickly, like what that energy is between, the two people in the relationship. And then we kind of trace it back to, oh, okay, yeah, my dad was this way, or my mom was this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm used to this kind of energy. And then once you've identified it and you see how it plays out, like awareness is like a huge, huge piece of it,
Yeah.
huge piece of it. But it's not quite enough. I mean, yeah, if you have awareness, you could probably look out for it and notice it and work on it. But usually there's a little bit more you have to do to really shift it. Inner child work is something that I use, where we go back in time and kind of, talk to that piece of you that was going through that at the time. And you offer comfort, you offer perspective, and basically that piece is kind of out here on the periphery, and you work to kind of like bring it in and integrate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to start to make different choices from then on, even though it's a little difficult.
Yeah, scary because it's new.
It's new. Yes. Yeah. And your body is going to be conditioned to a certain feeling and emotion. So, working somatically as well. I like to work with people to, okay, well, how do you want to feel in a relationship? bring that in, get used to those feelings because I guarantee you, you're not.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you find them, you usually push them away, which is why we push away, nice people because they're just giving you that love and you're like, oh,
What the heck
this
is
is
this?
weird. Yeah, yeah. So if you find you're doing that and you're pushing away the good ones, it's time to understand in your body those feelings that you really want to feel in a relationship so that when they happen, they feel more comfortable. They feel more like home rather than, the energy of the past.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard one for people to understand because the subconscious mind is always trying to keep you safe.
Hmm.
Or the ego, at least, is always trying to keep you safe. And so people think, well, that uncomfortableness is not good. It's like, no, that's actually what you have to work through because that is your norm. If you're constantly attracting people that berate you or cheat on you or whatever, that's what the ego is familiar with. So anything better is going to seem uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, any other thoughts or things that you want to share before we wrap up?
Um, I would say, if you're someone that has had relationships in the past that were less than ideal, I would say that your the first thing you'll want to do is to start to realize that you have more power than you think you do in the situation. You're not powerless. It's just going to take a little bit of courage to step out of that comfort zone to really go on that personal exploratory healing journey. But it is worth it. It doesn't have to be super painful. I mean, there might be, some things that are not easy,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't seen it be really painful for anyone. It's more like a release
Yeah.
than anything. You're releasing all of this energy that's just been stuck in your body for so long. And you just start to feel lighter and lighter, and your vibration gets higher and higher. And that means you start to attract to you better and better things.
Mm.
So just start doing something.
Yes.
Get out of that rut, that energetic rut you're in, and you'll start to see things start to change for you.
Yeah, I can attest to that one. On so many levels, we can relate this to everything beyond relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Awesome. Well, I always put everything in the show notes, but I like to ask, what's the best place for someone to come find you?
Probably my website, which is just myname.com. So it's JenYoungquist.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, we love reviews, we love feedback. Tell us if there's something you want to learn about, and we will see you on the next episode.